Okay, right, guys, you're all in. Um, so, um, as we were saying, this is Chris from Oasis FM and Canarian Weekly, and we're going to try and explain some things that will maybe
Try and
make some
explain
sense.
whatever they want explained.
Yes, so whatever you would like to know, we're going to try and explain it to make things a little bit easier, because some of it I didn't even understand. You've had to fill me in on a lot of stuff.
Well, obviously, I've been following the Jay Slater case since the first minute
Yes.
and every minute throughout. But I've been covering the case more from the angle of knowing the police processes, knowing how the island works, knowing the legal side of it, as opposed to what's been going on social media.
Yeah.
Although I've seen it and, obviously had to acknowledge it and look at some of it, then, we've been working with the authorities accordingly.
Hold on, seems like I can make my screen bigger. Give me a wee second. I don't know how to do that, but we'll sort that out maybe. Oh, I can make my screen full size, that's why. Hold on.
Put us back in the side ones.
To change. Is that better? Ah, okay, that's better. Ah, yeah, if I put these on the side ones. Sorry, Chris.
It's okay.
Put these on small. Which would be that one. Grid, switch.
Can you let
There we
Kelly
go.
as well, please?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Ah, there she is. Okay, that's the final mod in as well. There she is. Done. Right, okay. So, sorry, as you were saying, Chris.
No, so that's basically why you wanted me to come on there
Yes.
on your live.
So, a lot of questions that have been asked. Okay, we'll start with the main one, which everybody's asking is, was the body placed there the last 48 hours?
No,
And how long would you say the body's been lying there, from what we know?
right from day one, we've stuck with the hypothesis, as have the police, that Jay, unfortunately, either slipped, tripped, dehydrated, possibly pushed, let's not rule out any hypothesis,
Yeah.
into one of the Broncos. I mean, obviously the unanswered questions are, why did he go to Mascot in the first place? Why did he choose to leave so early? But, and obviously want to walk home. But from then on, when he was reported missing, when he's disappeared, it's easy to see with the terrain, maybe decided to take a shortcut across, part of a corner to shorten the distance, which if you go off route in these situations, it can be very dangerous. Or he decided to head down the Mascot Valley towards the sea. However, right from day one, it has been clear that he fell down at Branco.
And that's roughly how far a drop?
Anywhere between 200 and 600 metres, so anywhere between 600 and 2,000 feet.
Okay.
And you're talking, if he slipped and fell, it is almost vertical,
Yeah.
and he's landing on rocks. So, unfortunately, he would have literally fallen to his death.
Yeah, definitely. I would think so.
Now, the question I'm getting asked more than anything else, and when I say I'm being asked this is from the UK media. In the last 24 hours, I've been on near enough every UK news channel, radio station, network, as well as newspaper, is how come all of a sudden they found his body in the same location as his phone pinged,
Which is
when
what everybody's been asking on TikTok.
when they've already looked. Yeah? Now, it's really easy to explain, okay? Basically, his phone pinged, as we know, and gave his location by Mascot.
Yeah.
All right? So the initial search was done at road level of the Mascot trails, around the Airbnb where he stayed, in the brush area surrounding it, and also in the Tenno Rural Park using
Yeah.
drones, helicopters, sniffer dogs, has been well documented.
Yeah.
Okay? They were very meticulous in doing that. Searching an area, crossing it off, searching an area, crossing it off, moving on.
Yeah.
All right? They were also being followed by Jay's friends,
Yep.
Jay's family, who
Yeah.
wanted to help, other people who wanted to join in the search, and also news teams and TV reporters, not just from the UK, but from around the world. Now, on the Saturday, if you remember, on the Friday, they requested help from volunteers to assist in the search. And, every man and his dog put their hand up and said, I'll go.
Yeah.
Where in reality, they asked for professionals from associations with mountain rescue experience, experience of the terrain, abseilers, you know, people who are used to working or being in these sorts of areas and terrain. It's no coincidence that the next day after this mass search operation, they officially called off the search.
Yep.
All right. Now, we know as an official news outlet that the Guardia Civil requested a secrecy order for the investigation from the courts in Los Cristianos, which was granted.
Which is why I was gagged.
Absolutely, absolutely. And which none of the press are allowed, even though the press know that this is going on, we're not allowed to publicise it, otherwise it's huge problems. It's also why there was not much information coming from the police compared to the first couple of weeks.
Yep.
Because they were moving from the road level, which they'd already searched, down into these ravines. Now, although Jay's phone may have pinged and showed he was in this area, it didn't show that he was either down here or possibly up there higher. Yeah. All right. So once they'd covered all their tracks on this road level, they then, with these volunteers, you know, who with experience, went down into the ravines to look at a deeper level because they're very difficult to access. The drones can't see anything under the vegetation. The helicopters can't get low enough.
Yeah.
All right. So it's literally been on foot, sometimes crawling up hillsides, abseiling down. And as you can imagine, it's a slow process because it takes a long time to get down there in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise that it's taken another 2 weeks because you're talking there's acres and acres and acres and hectares, thousands of acres of this terrain, yeah? And, you know, apparently his body was found under this vegetation, which means it wasn't spotted from above.
Yep.
It was literally found by one of the searchers, you know, as they were going through this area, and in the same process as at the top, meticulously marking off different zones and areas they've been. So they didn't want members of the public going to this area.
Yeah.
They didn't want, because it's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
There'll be more people injured,
yeah,
more people hurt. So it's no surprise it's taken this long, and this is the process that the police do. And you know, ultimately, you have to say they've done a good job. Now, there could be the argument, or there has been the argument, saying if they went down into these valleys earlier or sooner, would it have made a difference? Would they found Jay alive? Well, let's be honest. If he's fallen or dropped 200 meters minimum onto rocks
yeah,
at the base of a ravine, sorry to say, he's not surviving, so it wouldn't have made any difference.
So the thing being, I mean, if you drop from that height, regardless of whether you fail or were pushed, you're going to bounce when you hit the deck, and you're going to bounce into all this foliage, which is obviously why nobody's seen. You know, you wouldn't see that one. You're not going to see from any sort of height whatsoever. No. And when you're saying about the reason why they wanted the public to think the search was finished was because they didn't want all these people making a mess, because also it would screw up any evidence.
Yeah,
you know, that it could possibly be there when they find a body or whatever, I suppose.
Well, also you've got to remember that potentially, I mean, the police have always said they're treating it as a missing person case, not a kidnapping case, although they haven't ruled out any hypothesis.
Yeah, yeah.
But potentially you're talking about being a crime scene.
Yeah, yeah.
So the last thing you want is people there disturbing it. So subsequently, they wanted to be left in peace to do their job.
Which is what's basically happened. But
well, it's the same principle as last year when we had the forest fires.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got the same thing with, you know, people wanting to go, you know, let's be honest, social media is the biggest thing in the world. So people wanting to go up, TikToking, reporting, Instagram Live, whatever. And they were like, look, we don't want you here.
Yep.
Stay away. And they put a second perimeter.
Around
so they got the perimeter of the fire, then a second perimeter for people because of this reason. Because these days, it's our human nature and, you know, to go as close to things as we can, and that's why the police wanted to do it in peace.
Which is crazy, because if we come on to the theories, I mean, I made my theory known from the beginning that I did think it was a scam. It was all to do with the GoFundMe, and I came out and said yesterday, you know, that was my theory. It was wrong. You know, I hold my hands up to that now as well. You know, a boy's been found dead, and his parents must be devastated. Whatever people thought of the parents, or you know, all that sort of stuff. It's the theories are not. Some of the wild theories that are still coming out this morning. Even when I was speaking to somebody at breakfast, you know, people think he was still. his body was.
Oh yeah, people say
Because of
his body
football.
was planted during the Euros final, and I know all talk of
Yeah.
your Rolex watches and all sorts of things. And let's be honest, sometimes things just are an accident, and they're just a tragic situation. That doesn't help social media. It's great to have a theory, it's great to have a conspiracy, and let's be honest. All these different channels and theories or ideas or suggestions have to be searched.
Yeah.
Some of them are a bit more crazy than others. Now, there was another situation a couple of days ago where people posted that a guy went missing on Friday,
That's right. Yeah.
missed his flight. He's turned up this morning.
That's right.
Yep, absolutely fine. He'd basically been on a session for 3 days, missed his flight. He's alive and well, and without talking out of turn, that is what normally happens in this situation.
Yeah.
The first thing that was really surprising in the whole Jay Slater case was how quickly the police jumped on it.
Yeah.
Now then, they didn't jump on it quickly because they thought there was any undertone. They jumped on it quickly because it's unusual that someone spoke to the person who's gone missing so soon after they've reported, so close to how they reported it missing.
Which was Lucy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also the fact where he was, how far he was from his accommodation, the situation with no water and the situation with no phone signal. That you put all that together. Now, you take the case of the other guy who, they said, okay, he didn't come home, we can't get him on the phone, he missed his flight, yeah? They weren't saying that he was in a national park or natural park 30 kilometres away, so on and so forth, and we spoke to him and this is what he said. So it's actually credit to the police how quickly they jumped on the case, because it is the usual process to actually turn around and say, well, once they've been given the details of where he was last seen and so on and so forth, to wait a period of time. Because I've been 19, 20, 21 over here and gone on a session for 3 days and gone to an after party after a club and all the rest of it. We all have, safely. But obviously in this situation, as I said, the two questions are why did he end up in Masca in the first place? And also, why did he leave so early in the morning in the situation that he did?
Yeah.
Those are the two questions that should be being answered.
Well, this is the thing, because people are saying, it was somebody had said, he was scared, but I presume that must have came from Lucy's conversation with him for the reason why he left to be, did Lucy actually ever say why he left to be in Airbnb?
No, she claims that he said that he couldn't go back there. So obviously that gives a grey area. However, maybe couldn't go back there because he didn't know where it was. If he'd been walking long enough and had progressed down some of the trails on his attempt to get closer to where he was staying, then that answers that question. Obviously the guys at the Airbnb have been extensively interviewed twice now, not just once, and have been completely ruled out regardless of their background. and unfortunately, it does just look as though it's a tragic case of a young kid on his first holiday away with his mates, separated from them, and unfortunately, whether he tripped, cut by a cactus and slipped, maybe collapsed through dehydration, for whatever reason, he has unfortunately ended up falling over the edge of a deep valley.
Yeah, and it's a very deep valley. Questions, let's see what's going on here.
Del,
Yeah.
can you just recap who this gentleman is? People are asking.
Sorry, people are bouncing in. This is Chris from the Canarian Weekly, who has, because of the police thing, there was a blanket, it's called what's it called again?
Basically, guys, I'm the editor of the Canarian Weekly, owner of Oasis FM. I've been working in Tenerife in the media for 25 years, and I've covered cases from the volcano erupting in La Palma to forest fires to disappearances before. And obviously, in this case, we are part of the main press here in the Canary Islands. And the search I was explaining was put under a secrecy order by the Guardia Civil, which we knew about. That's why we knew it carried on, but we couldn't say. And, we've been working with the authorities and the police forces in the meantime on what we can and can't give out as information.
It's crazy because a lot of people in the UK, they don't realise this summary of secret the way it works. This is what people keep coming back to, and they keep going, well, why didn't the police tell us they were doing this? You know, and it's a judge that actually rules on that, isn't it?
Yes.
A summary of secret.
Yes, they have to request it, and
Yeah.
they have to give the reasons why.
Yeah, which
All
covers
right.
that cuts out the police and the media from
Yes.
any sort of
Yes.
information.
Yes, because very often, you know, if nothing comes officially from the police,
Yeah.
you know, you'll get through the news agencies that a police source or someone has said and whatever, and it stops that as well.
Yeah, it's,
It prevents.
which is why you told me to shut up on Friday.
Well, you know, there was things we knew about that we couldn't talk about leading up to this.
Yeah.
Nothing that's, you know, groundbreaking or whatever, because the discovery's just been found. You know, we were told that there was going to be a large ransom offered to get more information, which was backtracked obviously when the family got information regarding this, and
Yeah.
and as we know,
Which is
They
what I've
pay-
been told by you.
yeah,
You
and
know
also
that-
the fact
yeah.
that they were bringing over the Dutch search team who arrived on Sunday and were part of the team that helped find the body Monday.
Somebody asked what about his phone. His phone was found with him, wasn't it? It wasn't.
They haven't confirmed that
They
yet.
haven't.
They've said that the body. I mean, don't forget, guys. They haven't officially confirmed yet that the body is Jay Slater. We're expecting that at some point today.
Yeah.
So the official identification we're expecting today. The autopsy results could be another week because they
Is it
will.
as long as that?
Absolutely. Well, no, because obviously it depends on the circumstances.
Right, okay.
Because let's be honest, they could find him for dehydration. They could find he's got a broken neck. They need to look for any signs of
Some strangling or
or
yeah.
any signs of, you know, not unnatural causes,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. And there may be a situation where there's something with the body that relates to the scene which they need to go back to.
Yeah.
All right, so they could take a week, but we are expecting official identification today. They have confirmed that the body was found with Jay's clothes and his possessions.
Right.
I would guess that his possessions included his phone,
Yeah.
but that's not been, you know, completely confirmed yet. And also, you know, let's also not forget, guys, as we said before, that when the phone pings, it doesn't show the exact location down to a square meter that
That's
we're
right.
sat in.
Yeah.
It's a bigger area. It's a rough area because obviously you're out in the wild,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Because one of the things was obviously it was an iPhone he had,
Mhm.
and I mean I beta test for Apple, and you know the minute a phone dies, somebody actually mentioned it yesterday in a live saying, but if he tries to turn the phone back on, it will ping. No, it won't. It has to get a signal for it to ping.
Okay.
And this is what a lot of people don't understand. So if you power up your phone and it comes up with the battery sign,
Mhm.
people automatically think it's pinging on the signal, but it's not, because it's not got enough power to actually hit the cell
Send
tower.
it,
So
right.
it cuts the phone back off again, and a lot of people don't understand that. And that was the reason why we wanted to do this live today, to actually let people see that there was no hidden rubbish going on behind it. It just looks now as if it was
An accident.
an accident, and we won't know the full story until an autopsy is done, whether they find something different or not. The amount of different people that were getting blamed. I mean, it seemed like I kidnapped him on Friday. The way it was when I was at Siam Park last week. Silly things. Another guy actually asked, "Will a post-mortem be done in the UK?" The post-mortem.
No, the autopsy will be done here.
It'll be done here.
It's all, yeah. Basically, after they found his body, the Guardia Civil have to guard it until the judicial authorities give permission for the coroner to remove the body. At that point, that was when it was airlifted from the ravine,
Yep, seen
which
that.
you've seen pictures
Yeah.
of that in the various different media, and it was then taken to the forensics lab in the main place in Santa Cruz. That's where the body will be officially identified, and yes, the autopsy will be carried out there.
And the autopsy will be made public at some point, won't it? The findings. Somebody just asked that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
of course. They may not make every single detail, but they will confirm.
the findings. of
They will
what
confirm how.
A question is
The family will be told first on that. I
Yeah,
guess
of
it will be
course.
their decision.
what they want to do with it. Yeah. The other thing was somebody keeps just actually bounced up there as well. I should have brought my glasses, but they actually asked, and I know you're going to say you don't have a clue, but was the watch found with them that everybody's going
Don't
on
know.
about?
At the
Yes.
moment, we don't know what possessions
No
were found.
possessions, yeah.
All they've said is that it was the clothes. What's really interesting in this, guys, is that first and foremost, the police did not rule out it was Jay. All right? Now, in any situation, if they're looking for a missing person, if they find a body the first thing they will do is rule out it's the person they're looking for if they are sure it's not that person.
No.
All right?
Yep.
So it's been confirmed as being the clothes that Jay was wearing and his possessions. So, without them saying, this is Jay Slater, they're saying, we know it's Jay Slater.
Yeah.
All right? They can't say it until it's obviously confirmed, identified, whether that be through DNA, dental records, whatever. So, as I said, we will expect to have that confirmation at some point today.
I know somebody actually asked in there just a second ago as well. I could see that was, will the parents identify the body?
Yeah, they'll be absolutely. They'll be asked to go in and identify. Let's be honest. After 4 weeks of extremely hot temperatures, very cold temperatures at night time, in dense vegetation where you get bugs, small animals, who knows what state of decomposition, or whether the body has been partially, shall we say, consumed by who knows, goats or animals in the area. But they will be.
Somebody just asked why did I say there was going to be an update on Monday, because we spoke about something we knew on Friday, and I said, and then I actually thought that it was going to probably come out Friday and Saturday the latest, but then we couldn't say it at all after you done your.
No, the update was about the reward,
which was the reward money that the parents were going to put up.
Without putting a figure on it, you're talking it was a huge reward, which was being sponsored by somebody, which the family discussed, but they withdrew that on Saturday or Sunday, and then with the Dutch team coming over, and then obviously this discovery was made Monday. So as to any theory, did we know anything before yesterday? No. The answer is no.
Definitely. No birds smell after 29 days. This is a thing, because you've done a post about birds.
The crows, absolutely. Well, we did the article on the fact of what the locals, the locals who live in that area. And you have to remember that the people who are most knowledgeable about that area are the Canarians. Yeah. Now, without talking out of turn, some of these people they've been living there for generations, long before the roads were there, long before the trails were there. Goat farmers living off the land, and they know the area and they know the situation. And that was one of the things they said.
Another thing that's just come up is people have been suspicious as usual when they turn and she says, funny how his body was found just as the Dutch team arrives.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
It's literally coincidence. Debbie said that it took a huge amount of time, negotiation, and money from the GoFundMe to get that team here. Was it 5 people, 4 dogs, with the flights and transporting the dogs and everything else. And it's pure coincidence on the fact that the process that the Guardia Civil are doing in the areas by searching an area, blocking it off onto the next area, literally step by step. They found Jay yesterday.
Guys, people are asking about a blanket. I don't know.
What was the question?
Well, the blanket was obviously Kassam in the Airbnb. His one of his claims when he was asked if he had anything to do with it, say, why would I do anything to Jay when we took him for shelter and we gave him a red blanket for warmth when he was sleeping at night. But he didn't have that blanket when he left the house, as far as I was aware.
And the thing is with that is what a lot of people don't realise is although it's Tenerife, up in Masca, it's damn cold at night.
It's cold at night and hot in the day.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that we're trying to tell people. Don't forget, this search in these valleys, you're talking they're doing this in local temperatures of over 40 degrees Celsius. So you're talking, 100 degrees. It's proper hot in full search gear. But at night time, it can drop for Tenerife to 10, 12 degrees.
Which is a lot colder than people think it is.
It is, because we don't have the cloud cover. Without the cloud cover, it's colder. The clouds actually make it warmer, convection and so on and so forth. And so it does feel a lot colder, which is why we've said all along, if Jay was lying somewhere alive, unless they did find him quickly, it would be a very tenuous situation without any water and extreme heat in the daytime and cold at night.
Yeah, because I know how to get. I mean, right now I'm running out of water and I'm starting.
And we've got the air conditioning on.
But why did he go there if he had a big hotel with food and a reception to ask for a key? This is another question that's come up quite a lot. Somebody said that he'd lost his key and that's why he went up to the Airbnb with Ayub and...
Yeah, the family have ruled that out, haven't they? You know, the family have turned around and gone, you know, our son isn't that stupid. Jay's not going to be the first person, for whatever reason, to think after a night out, gets invited somewhere to carry on the party, whether that be through going for a few drinks or whatever. We've all done it. You know, saying, oh, come and stay ours, we'll take you back tomorrow, or we can catch a bus back or whatever. You know, I mean, we've all done that, not necessarily up to Masca, but, you know, this story about the key hasn't really got any legs officially. Yeah. It's a rumour, but it has been ruled out by the family.
Somebody just asked, do you reckon someone killed him? This is the thing. Now, you can't really say yes or no, because there's no...
No, you can't.
It's just an accident. You know, you don't know whether he fell down that ravine or he was pushed down the ravine.
Or if he was, or in this case, what this person is asking, was he killed first and then thrown?
And then thrown, yeah.
This is what the police will be looking for in the autopsy.
Yeah.
All right.
There will also, surely, wherever he fell from, there would be certain possibly footprints depending on the foliage and things like that. So if there's only Jay's footprints and there's no sign of a scuffle,
sure,
you know, it's going to show that he just fell.
Absolutely.
This is the things that the police will look at.
And also, if there was some sort of intervention, then it will show on the body.
Yeah. Well, this is it.
Which is why the autopsy will take longer than expected.
So 79 fonts in the box still. I can't add him in.
The what?
79th century wants in.
All right, hold on. They've come up with the truth no matter what. They'll cover up the truth no matter what. I think people think it's still the 80s over here.
Cover up what truth? What,
exactly.
The fact that it was an accident?
Exactly. This guy is coming on. Always spoke sense. The 79th unit guy.
How you doing? Good afternoon. How you doing?
All right, mate. What's your question?
Do you think that the rumours and the people not dispelling rumours has led to a longer period of time of which Jay was found? Do you think
in what way?
Do you think the internet causing a stir and not backing up their facts, sensationalising this story, talking about things such as criminal elements and things that have been unsaturated, like the watch, the boat, which has been dispelled? Do you think that put us further away from finding Jay?
No, not at all.
Why?
Absolutely had no influence whatsoever.
So with
they're different police teams who would look into that side of it compared to the people on the ground doing the search. Doing the search was the GREIM, GREIM, which is the Mountain Rescue Department of the Guardia Civil leading the search. It's the AT team, which is the online team who deal with any online information or stuff to do with with the Guardia Civil. So it'd be a completely different team, so it wouldn't affect it in any way, shape or form. The police
in terms of a police investigation?
No, not at all.
That was the thing.
In terms of... Sorry.
They didn't actually stop the investigation looking for Jay up there. They actually kept that going.
Oh, is that what you're asking? If they stopped the search because of it?
No, what I'm saying, sorry, maybe I didn't articulate myself correctly. The search teams who are out there independently and who had been put together were obviously looking based on certain facts and evidence that they'd been given publicly. And the press
talking about the Guardia Civil or the independent friends and family?
Independent friends, family, anyone who was active in the searching for Jay's body. Do you think that they were hindered by the online involvement? A hindrance?
Well, look, the police specifically asked for people not to come and join in the search.
Right.
All right. Because they didn't want, they wanted to be left alone to look for the person they were looking for, not having to look after the people who were looking for the person they were looking for.
Yeah.
All right. And this is why they put a secrecy order on it. You know, when they announced they were stopping the search, they didn't stop it. They put a secrecy order and carried on, so they could do it in peace in the dangerous and difficult to access areas. So, you know, there may have been a situation where they hindered them slightly on the road
in a bureaucratic level.
Yeah, but obviously once they moved down into the ravines, where they've been for the last 2 weeks, they haven't stopped.
Right.
So no, it hasn't really hindered it at all. It's really caused more problems for the family than anyone else.
Right, agreed.
And obviously, you know, as far as, you know, it's the good and bad side of social media, isn't it? Let's be honest. How quickly Jay's friends particularly got the message out there is admirable, because it was all very positive. Let's bring Jay home. Let's find our friend. Let's go get him. But that very quickly turned toxic, didn't it?
Well, it did for them.
That's the nature of the beast.
So exactly. So you saw the good and bad side very, very quickly. The police don't get distracted or led by that sort of noise. You know, and as I say, as far as researching some of the theories and claims, that's a completely different team. But yes, you're right in what you asked. They did, for that reason, ask people not to join the search, because they didn't want to be hindered. But also, as we said before, you know, you could be dealing with a potential crime scene.
Yep.
So you don't want to be
unqualified people on site isn't helping.
not at all.
Right. Now, in regards to the same question, I'd say, I don't know how much you're able to comment, but with Mark Williams Thomas, and his involvement and the statements he made, do you believe that they aided any search or investigation in this?
I think what they did do in a positive way is give the family a sensible voice. All right? A voice of authority that people would actually take note of, because let's be honest, you know, the family have been the recipients of some disgusting, vile,
of course,
accusations and so on and so forth. Yeah. So what he did do was bring in an authority. I mean, he dealt with the family on, you know, telling them not to have the phones on, not to accept this, not to do this, not to do that, and that was good. Yeah. I don't think anything that he's done has helped the police find Jay, because he's more really been reporting as on behalf of the family of the situation.
Do you think he in certain statements providing information such as the watch and not dispelling any theories in following statements, he actually aided in perpetuating some of the more nefarious
Not
theories?
particularly, because the police didn't rule anything out either. You know, the police have very publicly said, okay, we believe it's a missing person case, that's how we're treating it.
Right.
We're not ruling out any other hypothesis until it's been investigated.
But I think they work with a higher accountability, though, don't they?
Absolutely, of course they do. Of course they do.
The judge,
Which the Arona courts and why the judge ruled on the secrecy order. Yeah.
That's, I think it's not like the UK police really, they turn around this lad and the inspector goes, this is happening and that's happening.
Yeah, it's different rules.
It's left down to a judge for them to decide if it's going to be a secrecy order or what. In this case it was, as it turns out. Somebody actually...
Well, let me ask you, what's your thoughts on it?
My personal opinion on the Mark Williams Thomas side of things is he spoke with some authority, and he became an infallible figure to the general public about matters of the watch, when he stated that Ayub was aware that he received a phone call from a friend that Jay was missing. He didn't follow up with, so I then asked him, did you go and look for him? And then Ayub's answer. I think he created more questions than answers, and his statements could have been, I feel he could have redacted certain elements of his statements to maybe not further conspiracies within the public arena.
Right. Okay, that's fair. That's fair comment. I can appreciate why you think that, and also as well, you know, Mark was dealing on scraps as well.
For sure, it was an information void.
There was limited information, so I think he tried to dispel what he could, but obviously I think he found very quickly as well that he was up against an unusual barrage of social media on this one. Because let's be honest, have you ever seen anything blow up like this?
No. Not in recent times.
It's just been here in Tenerife. It's not just been home in the UK. It's been global.
It's been international. Yeah.
Another thing is,
absolutely. Which, as I say, how his friends initially instigated that or created that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, I've never seen anything like that blow up so quickly in a positive.
People like sorry.
No, it's fine. On you go. Fire away.
I was going to say, people like Tenerife Excursions were able to put a post up the following morning on the 18th. So any media accounts that had any kind of substantial following were able to spread this to the four corners in their own.
Absolutely, because Matty's got a big following. Absolutely.
Can I just say something? There's been an update on BBC.
They're saying that
there has just finding it now. They're saying it's unofficially him. All right. Just like to point out the article's in El Dia. All right, They're saying it's unofficially him, but we won't know yet. So, but his documentation has been found on the body.
Right.
So they haven't formally identified him. They have identified his possessions.
Well, they've got standard operating procedure that they have to adhere to.
Correct.
Yeah.
So obviously the first thing is to take the possessions, obviously strip the body, prepare it for autopsy, so on and so forth, and for identification. So they found his identification, Jay Slater's identification on the body. It's not officially been classed as him, but I think we all know, guys, that, you know, it is him.
So, somebody's just asked, there was 2 questions said. His mate clearly said he heard him slipping on gravel. And I remember this one coming out.
Absolutely.
So it could have been he actually heard him slip.
Possibly, but
that was the end of it.
Possibly, but if you've ever been to that area, the whole area is gravel. So he could just be dragging his foot. He could, you know, unless you've been there, it's very hard to appreciate how. Dangerous, but it's dodgy to walk on. It's, you know, it's difficult to walk on.
I mean, you're not really going to walk up there with flip-flops.
You know, I've said this on numerous occasions on all the press outlets I've been on. It's not the place that you go without the correct footwear, by yourself, with no water, and with no phone signal. Either phone signal to plan your route or call for help if you get into trouble. So, you know, in these situations, you add on top of that Jay had been on a 3-day event, bender, let's call it, a 3-day bender, and probably only had, according to reports, a couple of hours sleep.
Yeah.
He's going to be tired, dehydrated, disorientated. So yeah, his mate did say he heard him slip, but whether or not he heard him slip down the barranco, is it, or down the, barranco, I don't know the word barranco, ravine, it's a different thing.
Somebody also asked, is it true that he left the Airbnb with 2 knives? And I can probably answer that we don't have any idea on that.
There's been no report of that at all by either party.
It's funny how, because I've looked at some of the messages here, that people are still saying, you know, it doesn't matter what you say, they still turn and say he's been dumped here. You know,
look, people. Let's be honest. Some people want to believe there's more to it than the truth. Yeah, there's always 3 sides to every story, isn't there? So, but you know, unfortunately, sometimes we have to accept that accidents happen, tragically, unfairly.
Yeah.
You know, we'd like to think that there was more to it.
Well, I mean, as I said, as I thought, you know, it was a scam all along for the GoFundMe money, and even now I turn and say I wish it was a scam, because then he'd walk out and still be alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd rather that than what's actually happened and they found a body.
Sure.
So
may I speak to that? Do you know what? I will make a point of saying that was admirable that you did turn around and say, look, I take ownership of my own statements in this that were incorrect, and I think. This is a social commentary that there should be a lot more creators on this, taking ownership and accountability for saying, I should have maybe, and this isn't reference to you, taken due diligence, and, you know, rather than perpetuating myths, I should have follow up with facts. I think there should be more creators doing the same thing. So I do find that admirable you took ownership of that.
It's interesting because we have different rules for the press than you have on social media.
Right,
so
and that's a key point, isn't it? Accountability.
We get asked all the time, you know, please can you put out my husband's missing, my son's missing, this is missing. They're not missing. They've been on a night out, haven't come home. Yeah?
Right.
So you can put it on Instagram, you can put it on TikTok, you can put it on a Facebook group. We can't publish it unless it comes from the police or unless it comes from one of the official associations, such as SOS Desaparecidos, who deal with missing persons in Spain. And when you explain that to people, they find it very strange. I mean, even in the very first realms, when Jay went missing, we got contacted and we said, no, we can't publish it until we get the official notification, which we did a few hours later. Unfortunately, it's a shame that other outlets aren't regulated in the same way.
Right. Well, you'd say that, but look at the Sun. Even though they prefaced it with the word theory, this poor boat owner was dragged up in the Sun again for the umpteenth time with zero corroboration.
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, the UK press laws are different to the Spanish press laws.
Right.
I have to work under the Spain press laws, which are different again.
Right.
You know,
well, the bureaucracy in Spain is quite
in the UK.
heavy.
You can say allegedly and name someone. Right. Yeah. In Spain, we can't name someone unless they're charged.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different rules and regulations
For
again.
sure. I
So-
suppose. Sorry.
No, sorry, you go.
I suppose that's again because of the rules and regulations in Spain. That probably why it may have created a more of an information void along with the ruled order.
Along with the
from
secrecy
police.
order, yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. If you look what the Spanish press have been reporting, it's very limited.
Yeah, which then leads to, in a void or vacuum of information, more speculation.
So, anyway, I hope that kind of answers most of the questions, which is
okay.
it was the reason why I've done this live today, because I wanted Chris has got more insight than probably anybody. You know, he's as close as he has information that's been given by the police. There's no sort of crap behind it and all the rest of it. It kind of hopefully will dispel some of the rumours and let the family just have some peace at the moment, because I know my rumour was wrong, and I put my hands up to that. So a lot of the rumours that were out there were completely wrong, and it's one of them things. It's happened. The boys.
I'm gonna have to go because there's some news coming through.
All right. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Again, guys, it's been a blast. What I'll do is I'm going to save this video off, and I'll put it back up for everybody to be able to actually just watch it and re-listen to it. So if you missed the beginning of it, then you can basically listen to it. And guys, thanks for the comments. Mods, how was it? Was there any hassles?
There's only a few,
Oh, that's not so bad.
not
I
really
think
bad.
some words say there was no trolling.
All right, cool. Unit, thanks very much, mate. You're
No, thank you for your time.
It's just because
Thanks,
I know
Unit.
how polite you are with your conversation and things like that. So it's.
We
I
haven't
just
got the
don't need for it,
thingy
is
to
it?
put people in the
Yeah,
boxes. so-
guys, I didn't want to make it a free-for-all for everybody to badger in and thing with Chris. We just wanted to get the facts out there, see it
For
as
sure.
and just take it from there. I will probably go live tonight at some point, and we can just have a chit-chat about it. But any crap comments will be deleted. Guys, I will catch up with you later.
the
And
best,
thanks
Del.
for all the gifts.
Ciao, see you later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye.